Yo, this is B Rice here on Mid Atlantic Jams on WRIR 97.3 FM. We have a special guest in the building. A Philadelphia MC is in the building. She definitely was doing her thing in the 90s on the lyrical tip, and definitely took a little break, but due to the power of just like YouTube, it shows how you can have a bunch of hip hop heads on a network spreading these songs that were slept on at the time. And due to that, like I feel like her status has become even more legendary in the game because of that. Ladies and gentlemen, Shortie No Mass is in the building. How are you?
I'm fine. What up? What up? Hello, everyone.
Yeah, yo. Let's talk a little bit about Here Goes Nothing.
I want the world to admire every lyric. When I spit it, I'll admit I want this shit to be a hit. It took a minute, but the trick is never second guess. I did it. Biggest problem in my life, yo, I'm my own worst critic. But then it dawned on me, and I'll attest some of the shit that I heard. My worst is better than they best ever.
Because I feel like, because I follow you on Instagram, and it just shows you're just pretty much like living your best life and on the East Coast.
Yep.
Shout out to you being a fellow cat owner too as well.
Oh yeah, Biggie and Faith. Those are
Yeah, I seen that. I definitely saw that. Yeah, I have two cats too as well. But what made this the perfect time for Here Goes Nothing?
I think where I'm at in my life, where I can do it because I love it. I don't have to do it for the financial piece of it. And definitely the support of Vinyl Digital, backing me with, they just made it easy for me.
For sure. And on Here Goes Nothing, you have a bunch of just topics you just discussed, just like maturity. You have like club joints on there. It's a nice blend of music. When did you first start the album? When did the creation or the beginning of Here Goes Nothing, when did that happen?
So Vinyl Digital approached me in 2019 to re-release the single You Like My Style and Like This. Really was no effort on my part, just to give them permission, to license it. They put that out and it sold out. The vinyl sold out. And then the single being on YouTube and getting as many views and comments as it has, this album was 100% for the fans.
I got a million hours for me to run right through it. Shit's like fluid by the way I kept it flow. Showing that peculiar sounds for a chick. Don't forget that my shit's like better when it sounds like that.
Because I was like, if you're still asking me for an album after all this time, I owe it to you. So
yeah, and that's wild too as well, because I feel like the Vinyl Digital version of it, the vinyl version, has the bonus tracks on it.
Yes, it does. So that was an extra, plus. And this is actually the last time anybody will be able to get Like This or You Like My Style on vinyl. Like it'll never happen again.
The thing about it is that your voice, like when you listen to just the tracks on the new project, Here Goes Nothing, and your voice, then it's literally stayed the same. Like you could probably just like, you probably not wouldn't be able to tell, like especially on joints like Tragic, Charade too as well. I don't think you would be able to tell. I was gonna ask a question about just the original just 12-inch of Like This and You Know My Style. When did it start picking up? Or when did you start notice it started picking up when on YouTube? And how much burn did it get, like just in its original? Because I can't even front. I was like, it was 1995. I was 8 then, so I was
Right.
mad young. So
Right.
like, how was the feeling for it when it originally dropped?
When it originally dropped, I think the music industry in general was different then. So unless you were on a major label and getting, major exposure, because we didn't have streaming services, you didn't have YouTube in that capacity, so it didn't really get a lot of play. it was like a cult favorite. You know, some people had the vinyl, and if you had the vinyl, it was like, oh, you know, hip hop, you know, so it's kind of like a stamp of approval. What's crazy about the YouTube video was it's at about 10 million views right now. And it says 13 years that video has been up, but I want to say for 10 of them, it was at 2 million views for like 10 years. So it's gotten like 8 million views in the last 2 years. I got caught up, I think, in a YouTube algorithm where it started. And it started suggesting it, because a lot of the fans a lot of the comments of the fans on that 10 million views, they're new fans. They never heard of me, you know, so they're like, oh my God, who is this? And, you know, then like people in the comments will educate them a little bit and like, oh, you know, oh, she rhymes with De La and the Roots. And people are like, oh my God, how did I miss this? Or the other thing that inspired me too was it's young people, 17-year-olds, 21-year-olds. So that kind of gave me the confidence with Here Goes Nothing, that if I was a new artist, people would dig me. Yeah. It doesn't necessarily have to do with any of my old accolades. You know, as an artist that no one's ever heard of, they were still interested in checking for me.
Yeah, and it's also really crazy too with that YouTube algorithm, because I remember when I really started to really go into the crates, because I had to go back and really explore and like kind of do my studying and research. Your joint will pop up in the YouTube algorithm, and that Godfather Don joint, Status, will pop up in the YouTube algorithm. Those two joints will always be there. But let's talk about this new project. Here Goes Nothing. You have like, you're talking about how you pretty much made it for like the younger generation, and I think you also give like a really good balance on the album, because you have songs like Identity Crisis, which talks about just like some of the struggles that you had to go through as a woman MC to keep balance. But you also have joints like party joints like Body Move, which is really, really dope. And I like that. You could definitely play that joint in like the club. What is the importance of just keeping that balance in 2022?
Well, you know, it's funny because Vinyl Digital was asking me for an album or an EP. And I said, I can do an EP. I don't know about an album. So I focused on an EP. And then I just came across all these dope tracks that I recorded in 2007. Identity Crisis is 2007. Oh,
wow. It doesn't sound like it. It aged like online.
Right. So there were a few, and I was like, oh, these are dope. I never used them before. I'd never, you know, I just never did anything with them. So I was like, I think Here Goes Nothing too was one of the older ones. So at that point, it was like, okay, now you can get an album, because it was easy at that point. You know, they were already, I still had the sessions. So we, you know, just were able to kind of combine the old with the new on that. So it just made it easy, you know. So, but definitely Identity Crisis, you know, what you spoke about, it being hard for a woman, putting that out in 2007, it was, and it still is today.
Yeah.
It's definitely harder for a female MC, because if you want to be respected for skills, then you almost kind of got to be a tomboy, kind of non-sexy kind of, you know, person. But I love being pretty, and I, you know, especially back then, even more so, you know, I was out and popping bottles, and, you know, and so, but that's what was that was on the radio. So it was like, you know, which way do you want to go as a female MC? You can definitely go pop, but it might not be true to yourself, but you'll sell a lot of records. Or you could stay true to hip hop, but you might not make as much money. You know, yeah. So definitely Identity Crisis really touches on that.
And another question I had too is, you mentioned this in a couple of songs on the project. You said biggest problem of my life is I'm my own worst critic. I think that's on the title track. But do you think that is a part of why like you took a little like just hiatus from the game? Is that you were your own like worst critic when it came to just your material? Or?
No, I don't think that had so much to do with why I took a hiatus. I think I took a hiatus because I just started making a ton of money
Getting
outside of
that,
hip hop.
I figured getting that bread.
I was like, hip hop never loved me. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
over here where the bag is at.
And then and then back then I feel like in a lot of cases it might have paid less than it maybe does. Like it all depends, I guess, on the structure of your deal. It might have just not been.
Yeah, that, and also who would I have been if I came out right after De La Soul? You know what I mean? I might not, I definitely wouldn't. I would be on a major label because I had a deal with a major label. I would be on a major label and I wouldn't have as much creative control as I do today to really just represent who I feel like I truly am, But being my own worst critic, I mean, I think it's with anyone who does anything creative, obviously if you're putting something out to the public and opening yourself up for criticism, that's a real personal thing that you're sharing with the world. And you want it to be the best, But sometimes what I've learned in this industry is sometimes what I think is the best isn't always the best, like sometimes I can put a song out and I'll be like, ugh, I hated it. And people were like, oh my God, I love it. And it's like, oh, okay, well, apparently my opinion doesn't matter.
What major label were you on?
I had a deal with Def Jam, but I didn't, I had been in negotiations for a while. I had the contract, but I ended up not signing.
Okay, I got you. Yo, you were featured on Balloon Mind State. What are your thoughts about it? Because I read stuff. I think it might have gotten like, even though it got like 4.5 in the source, it didn't reach the critical acclaim as De La Soul is dead. But now I feel like years later, it's finally reaching that. What are your thoughts about just that project, and what are some of your favorite memories of that joint?
I think people loved De La Soul at the time, and I think Balloon Mind State was definitely, fans either loved it or they didn't love it. I guess it just wasn't what they wanted from De La. Like a lot of people be like, oh, that's not my favorite album of De La. But other people are like, oh my God, that's a favorite. It's really 50-50. There's no real middle ground with Balloon Mind State from what I see, in the comments. I had a ball, recording it. God, I was so young. I was 16, 17. So I was a kid. It was like my first time, like just really being in the industry. I had been in the studio before, but this was the first time just really being in the actual, industry. And, it was a great experience.
And for sure. And another thing is, what are your memories of just like, I feel like recording with the Roots?
Send me your love, don't ever think I don't need it. Shit, I got problems, can you help me out? Shout a little louder if you're sure that you hear me. Fear me not, I'm just another average girl. Curls in my head, I think I look good. Should I be the one to break the bad news?
Yeah, so Leonard actually, Hub actually discovered me. I think he, gets a lot of credit to me. I mean, look, who knows what would have happened otherwise, but he was the one who introduced me to Richard Nichols, and Rich became my manager. Richard, was the Roots former manager prior to his passing, but he made that introduction. And honestly, if it wasn't for Rich wouldn't have took me to the show. He wouldn't have introduced me to the publicist who introduced me to Pos. So, it really starts with Hub.
Facts. And how was it? Because I read on Discogs, I don't know if this is true or not, but were you on You Ain't Fly? On Do You Want More?
Ad-libs.
Ad-libs, okay. Yeah. That's pretty cool though, because that was pretty much the album that, of course, you were on Organics on the Posse Cut joint. That joint was dope, but it's pretty cool that you were on Do You Want More, because I feel like that was like the album that it seemed like it was the album that like kind of broke them through.
Yeah, so I used to live with Amir, the Jazzy Fat Nasties, Kilo. We all lived in the same house around that time. So I was just always in the studio. So that's how I ended up just doing ad-libs on that album.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool. Well, let's kick it back into just December of 2021. You definitely released this project. How was it working with just like the beat miners? Still like producers who were extremely relevant in the 90s, still relevant now in 2022?
So after I moved out of living with the Roots in Philly, I actually moved in with the Beat Miners and their mom in Brooklyn.
wow.
So I lived with them for a year. So they're like my brothers. Honestly, Mr. Walton and Evil D, are always my go-to for tracks. Even if I do stuff with other artists, I would go to their house to record, So they were just like family, So that wasn't so much a new experience on this. It was almost just a given that I was gonna, have them be on this album. Plus it was COVID. Plus, I didn't really want to involve a whole lot of people. So the J Zone tracks were all older tracks. Those are from 2007, Identity Crisis and Can't Get Enough of Me and Inspiration. So those were, it wasn't like I was currently working with J Zone at the time. So honestly, with COVID, it was just easy. It was just family. It was the Beat Miners and my son.
And your son is on the album.
Mm-hmm.
Is that him on the Inspiration joint?
No, he did Creating Greatness, because
Creating Greatness. Okay. He did. Oh wow. Okay, that's what's up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, we're kicking it with Shortie No Mass. My question to you is, are we gonna get you've definitely felt the love from the Here Goes Nothing project. Are we gonna get any more music? Of course, this is me being a hip-hop head. When we gonna drop some more when you gonna drop some more music? But of course, you already pretty much dropped music. But are we gonna see you on any other hip-hop tracks just in the future by artists?
I'm actually working on another album right now.
Okay.
Yep, and that'll be produced by Pasta News from De La Soul, his younger brother, Lucky.
Wow.
Swinging with the same Lucky behind my back, that Luck,
okay.
Fife mentioned, and my son, he gave me a track the other day, and I'm just like, why didn't you give me this for Here Goes Nothing? This track he just did for me is really, really dope. So I'm gonna definitely try to get him to do a little bit more on this album too, now that he kind of understands the process. So.
And I wasn't gonna mention it, but it's pretty much public knowledge at this point, because I think Marquis might have posted it on Instagram. There's a joint with you, Marquis and Moni Love.
Oh, she mentioned it.
Yeah, she mentioned it on I'm not doing like she posted about it on IG. She also told me about it or not, but yeah, she told me about that joint.
Yeah, that one. I'm like, I recorded that before my album. So yeah, that's some heat right there. So I'm looking forward to that one coming out.
Yeah, the streets and the East Streets are definitely waiting for that joint.
They're not ready. And it's so like, I think they're going to be surprised the most by Moni.
Yeah, I could totally see that. I think it's Full-Time Lover off the Class X soundtrack. We still play that joint down here.
Yeah. Me and Mo are good friends. So, but yeah, and we're actually me and her are working on a song for her album as well.
Oh, cool. She's about to drop something too?
She's working on it. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I won't investigate too tough and ask you for any producers or what's gonna be, but I won't do that. I can
tell you honestly. I couldn't even. That's her thing. I don't know.
Nah, yeah, I totally understand. But yeah, Shortie No Mass, definitely appreciate you. Here Goes Nothing is out now on Bandcamp, streaming services. Do they have any more vinyl at Vinyl Digital?
Oh, like honestly, there might be like 50 copies left. So they hit me the other day and they were just like, oh my God, you're almost sold out. So definitely, if you want the album on vinyl, I would suggest, getting it sooner than later. And for anyone who wants like this, or you like my style on vinyl and didn't get the opportunity to get it at a retail price, this is it. This is it. You're not getting it again. So this is the last time you'll be able to get like this. You like my style and you like my style remix on vinyl.
For sure. Definitely. Thank you. Appreciate it.
No, thank you for having me. I hope you guys enjoy the album, and I'll keep checking. I'll keep dropping. As long as you guys want it, I'll drop it. So there you go.